Namaskaram, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Very good. So let's start. Sorry for the delay. You know very well I don't keep good timing. That's a major problem which I have not been able to solve during my entire life.
That is true.
Okay, we'll start in a minute. Where did this go?
But
Okay.
it is okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Okay. Um, okay, we'll start. Slideshow. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्परमगुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीकृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः श्रीलक्ष्मी परब्रह्मणे नमः श्रीलक्ष्मी हयवदन परब्रह्मणे नमः सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. So the question, it's very hard for me to answer some of these questions. I'll take a few here. It won't be a long class. Hopefully, but we'll try to understand some things in depth. We can discuss whenever you don't understand. You can stop me. We can discuss, and we'll figure out a couple of things today. A couple of question answers mainly. One question was, I have avoided some later questions asked, which are not related to the past lectures we have had, right? Because answering those questions, one question leads to Bheda and all. Then what is Bheda? I have to explain before answering the question. So it's going to become a very big problem. And that kind of a deviation is not warranted at this point. We will take them up as and when they appear in our regular lectures. So this one question is, what is the fundamental difference between Samyama and Upasana? Okay. Trayam ekatra samyamaha is the Yoga Sutra definition of what Samyama is. So what are the three? Dhāraṇā, Dhyāna, Samādhi. Okay. One way of looking at this Dhāraṇā is the first step of meditation. It involves fixing the mind on a single point or object, that is Dhāraṇā. Dhyāna is meditation. This is sustained and unbroken flow of concentration on that object where the mind remains focused for a longer period. Okay, Dhyāna is that. Then Samādhi is what the that is third and the final stage, supposedly, in the Yoga Sutras. The meditator becomes so absorbed that the distinction between the self and the object of concentration disappears, leading to complete oneness. It's this is where question comes up. The complete oneness is may not be complete oneness is not even explained in the sutra. Okay, so I will explain this in see, that is why you cannot take what you get out of internet as real truth. I just used it as just a basis to just discuss, and because internet comes up with a good language, it's easy to understand, and it puts it in a slide format and things like that. So I just gave a basic idea of these definitions. So far, do you understand what these three stages are?
Yes, I understood that.
Okay. When these three stages are integrated, they are no longer separate steps but form a single powerful practice called Samyama. By applying Samyama to a specific object, Samyama itself, Trayam Ekatra Samyama. If all these three, Dhāraṇā, Dhyāna, Samādhi, is practiced on one object of meditation, that becomes Samyama. And one can get deep insight and mastery over that object. That is the idea, right? The original sutras given in the Yoga Sutras are Deshabandhaha Chittasya Dhārana. Fixing of the mind in a place is Dharana. I have taken this definition from my grandfather's book on Yoga Sutras, I'm trying to write this book and clean up. It is not I should say, well edited yet. I'm just picking up some casual stuff from my grandfather's book. Deshabandhaha chittasya dharana means fixing the mind in a place is dharana. Place is object of worship, or object of focus, right? That is it. Tatra pratyayaikatanata dhyanam. In that place, perennial flow of knowledge, like the flow of water, is meditation. Pratyaya is experience, meditation, focus. Ekatanata is oneness, without any disturbance, without any distraction. That is dhyana. So focusing on one object is meditation. Tadeva arthamatra nirbhasam swarupa shunyam iva samadhihi. Tadeva arthamatra nirbhasam. That alone, that is the object of knowledge, is the only thing which appears in the meditator's mind, where the meditator is appearing as the object. See, because swarupa shunyam iva means as if while meditating, the objector does not even see himself, as if he disappears, as if the seer disappears. That is samadhi. So as if the seer loses his substantivity. That is samadhi. Substantivity is not a commonly used word. My grandfather uses these kind of words. But when I looked at the dictionary and say, what does substantivity mean in the field of philosophy, it says something solid. That means his existence, solidity, his substance, in a way. That's what it means. So substantivity is not a wrong word. It is just a word used very rarely. So that alone, that means tadeva arthamatra nirbhasam means only the object of meditation appears in the mind, and as if he loses himself. That means the person sort of not exists, or is not considered or not even understood during the process of meditation. So the word iva is very important. Swarupa shunyam iva. That is the original word of the great Patanjali, who wrote these sutras, right? The swarupa does not become zero. It doesn't vanish. Iva, as if it vanishes. That means, oh, it's very close, but it doesn't vanish. So the Advaitic commentary says, oh, it's leading to vanishing. There is no self. Self is gone. Only Brahman exists and nothing else. And Brahman is Nirguṇa. That is the usual tendency to interpret these sutras like that. That is their tendency. But in the original sutra, it does not indicate clearly that the Swarupa or the meditator completely sublates himself or goes away. Trayam ekatra samyama. These three on one object is samyama. That we already covered.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Is samadhi equivalent to absorption?
They say it's absorption. Absorption is, what does it absorption means? Like water getting absorbed in cotton or something like, cotton absorbing water. What does absorption mean, right?
No, what I'm trying to tell is, I'm just thinking a simple thing. If we are actually seeing some movie or some subject, let us studies. So when you're focusing so much, we tend to forget ourselves at some point of time.
True. That is how absorption is explained. But you got to understand, movie absorption is one level maybe. There may be in the real true samadhi, the absorption level is very high. See, what is the level of absorption is very difficult to differentiate. For example, the famous things about great yogis, they say that even if a huge drum like a bheri, these are war drums. If this is olden times when they wanted to announce a war or beginning of a war or something, they used to beat these drums, which was probably audible for kilometers and miles away. So even if that drums are beaten right next to this yogi in a clear absorption, state of absorption, the yogi would not even wake up. See, what is the level of absorption is the question, right? Some
One
yogis
more
even
thing, even if you prick with a needle, it will not be for that person, he will not realize at that time.
That's what they say, right? The thing is, how many people can come to that level of absorption is very questionable. Very questionable. Even Ramana Maharshi, while dying, somebody questions him about his cancer, and he was, it seems, shouting in the night or something like that. And next day, or somebody walked to him and said, "Was it painful for you?" I mean, yes, my body experienced pain, but I was separate. I was just watching. I was just a witness. Or you were shouting in pain. Yes, the body shouted in pain, and I was witnessing. So he had a level of separation from that experience of pain or things like that, right? So not everybody can get to that level. So we need to understand what level people are. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says that when Totapuri guided him in meditation using a sharp object like a piece of glass or something, and he pushed it in the middle of the eye, bru yuga, that is the middle of the brows, and then start meditating. Why are you thinking of all these things? Just start meditating. And supposedly Ramakrishna meditated for several days continuously. And first 1 day or 2 days, Sotapuri said, "Oh my God, this student is an amazing student. He can get into meditation." Second day, he said, "Oh, very good, very good." Third day, very good. When it comes to 6 or 7 days, "Oh my God, what have I done? Is this guy already dead?" Please mute yourself. There is some background noise. You can ask questions. When you ask questions, you can unmute yourself, but keep it muted, please. So, what happened to Ramakrishna? He went into that kind of level of meditation where even after 6 or 7 days, Totapuri could not see him disturbed. Then Totapuri saw that Ramakrishna might be dead. Kashtavat jayate vapuhu, they say. The thing is, the body becomes like twigs without any life.
I read in that book that he stayed in Nirvikalpa Samadhi for either for 21 or 23 days.
No. See, there is a problem there, because I think what I read earlier regarding that is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa himself says in the Vachana Veda. See, for 7 days or 8 days, it's okay. Somebody can come back from that state. But if it goes to 21 days or beyond 21 days, that person will not come back to life.
By someone I heard that is a realized person. If you stay in Nirvikalpa Samadhi 3 days continuously, the soul doesn't come back to the body.
Probably. Each person says it in a different way, maybe. There is some particular number. Maybe the number varies according to each person. We don't know. These are very difficult
But
states.
what I said now for 3 days, that is an authentic news.
See, could be. But what I heard through the textbooks is if Ramakrishna Paramahamsa himself states somewhere that if you go beyond 21 days, you will never come back. And he even gives an analogy. Calcutta is in the banks, right? Banks of the ocean also, right? So when the boats come, when boats leave the shore, you can see them for some time. After some time, you see that they disappear, they don't come back, right? So only so long that he gives some kind of a rough, like an analogy, like boats leaving and not coming back, kind of a thing. For how long they can stay in your horizon and in your vision, only for some time. That's what he roughly gives an estimate or something, whatever it may be. The question is, absorption is simple English word. When it goes to reality and practice, we have to understand whether this is truly, if some state, maybe I achieved or myself or yourself or somebody achieved, has it gone to that state or not? We don't know. That's one question. There were a couple of questions. There was one more question regarding the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I'll try to answer that later towards the end of this class. This is the first answer, first question. There was a second question. This is not a second question. There was no question on this. I was thinking myself, long time back, I've been just a couple of a week back or something, I had a discussion with Aditya ji, and he was saying, Satya and Asatya should be defined properly. We need to understand. This is not an easy task. Okay. Why is it not easy task? You have to really understand the subtle explanation given by Śaṅkarācārya. And then that means that you will have to go through the original works of Śaṅkarācārya and say wherever the Satya is used, right? And I can say Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma is one place. Like that, there are many, many places in the Prasthanatraya Bhashya of Śaṅkarācārya where the Satyapada is explained in his own language. One could say, oh, these are all summarized and contained in the Vedanta Sara of Sadananda, or later works like Vedanta Sara of Sadananda, that is Advaitic works, or the Vedanta Paribhasha. One could say, but is it really true that these are good summaries of Śaṅkarācārya's view of Satya? It is questionable. One has to verify for themselves in each, and Śaṅkarācārya might himself have given different definitions of Satya in different places, slightly varying, slightly in one aspect. The main difference is this. I will explain the main difference when we go to the next level. Okay, let's just go through a few slides to explain what Satya means according to different acharyas. That's all it means. So Śaṅkarācārya says, Satyam iti yadrupena yannishchitam tadrupam navyabhicharati tat satyam. What is defined or understood to be in a particular form, if that form does not change, unchanging, that is Satya. Yadrupena yannishchitam tadrupam vyabhicharati tadanrutam ityuchyate. What changes? After determining that this is what it is, this is the form it is, and the form changes. This is the nature of this entity, but the nature changes. That is known as anrita, not rita. Anrita is lies. That is all English translation afterwards. The Sanskrit is very, very flexible. Anrita is used for even saying lies. But that's not exactly what Śaṅkarācārya said here. Ato vikaro anritam. So he himself clarifies. Whatever changes, that is not rita. That is not Satya. Vacharambanam vikaro namadeyam mrittika ityeva satyam evam sadeva satyam ityavadharanat. So he refers to Chandogya 6.1.4 and says Satya is that which is not vikara. Satyam Brahma iti Brahma vikaran nivartayati. So he separates out Brahma, which is unchanging. Okay. Now, this is Śaṅkarācārya's view, right? So, simple English sentence here is, Satya in its highest sense refers exclusively to Brahman. Brahman is conditioned, unchanging, self-existent, and eternal. It is the only entity that exists in all three periods of time, that is past, present, and future, without modification. This is fundamentally, this is definition of Śaṅkarācārya. Now, this is just explained further here. So Asatya is that which is different from this. That which changes is Asatya. Think about it. That which changes is asatya. So what is absolute unreality? Absolute asatya. That is like the sky flower, Akasha Kusama, Kusuma, or a barren woman's son, Vandhya Putra. Barren woman doesn't even have a child. So how can you say barren woman's son? That does not exist. So that is an absolute reality. Similar to hare's horn, that is the horns of a rabbit, which does not exist. Relative reality is Mithyā, according to Śaṅkarācārya. What is relative reality? Jagat is Mithyā. It is neither purely real nor purely unreal. It is asatya in the sense that it is not ultimately real like Brahman. It is dependent on Brahman for its existence and ceases to appear as real upon the dawn of Atmajnana. Once Atmajnana exists, it ceases to appear. So Brahman doesn't, that is the, the Jagat does not appear because Jagat will be same as Brahman. It has empirical reality, Vyavaharika Satya, but lacks absolute reality, Paramātmika Satya. Dreams often used as analogy for things that are Pratibhasika Satya, apparent reality, but ultimately Asatya. So the thing is, dreams are Pratibhasika. That means in the dream you see it, it's only apparent, but later on you see it doesn't exist. In summary, so Śaṅkarācārya's definitions of Satya are not concise dictionary entries, but they are rather philosophical elaborations. Abhāditattvam, he says in some places. Unsublatability, that which doesn't go away, that cannot be negated, that cannot be contradicted by experience or knowledge. That is Abhāditattvam, is one way of looking at it. Avyabhicharitvam, non-deviation. It does not change its course. It maintains its nature and does not change. Kalatrayepi sattvam. It exists in all periods of time, that is past, present, and future. Swatantra sattakatvam. Independent existence, not depending on anything else for its reality. All these are explanations of Satya, and anything other than that is Anrita or Mithyā. So why does this Anrita become Mithyā? What does Mithyā mean? That something to this, till here, I don't see any change between Vishishtādvaita and Advaita. Why? Because in Vishishtādvaita, Rāmānujācārya says, Nirupadika Satta Brahma. Brahma is Nirupadika Satta. Unconditional existence is Brahman. Hence it is separated from, that is Nirupadika Sattva is alone, Brahman is separate category, and the other category is Upadika Satya, that is Chetana and Achetana. And there the idea of Achetana is Satata Vikari, constantly changing. So that which is constantly changing is not ultimately Nirupadika Satya. It is not unconditional real. And then what about Samsrishta Chetanasya? Even the jivas associated with changing matter is also not considered not unconditional truth. It is conditional only. So in this sense, I didn't see that much difference between these two systems of thought. Now,
I have a comment here.
Yeah.
Here, according to Śaṅkarācārya, it is Nirguṇa Brahman, right? When he says Satya.
True.
But in the case of Vishishtādvaita, it is different, right? It is Saguṇa Brahman himself, which is Satya.
Yes. See, what Śaṅkarācārya argues is, how can this becomes if you say unchanging, that is Satata Vikari is matter, right? Satata Vikari is constantly changing. And Satata Vikari is constantly changing. Then Brahman is not changing, right? If Brahman is not changing, if Brahman wills, creates, protects, and does a number of things, that that makes Brahman changing, right? So that which changes still cannot be perfectly unchanging Brahman. So what Śaṅkarācārya proposes is, if there is a totally unchanging Brahman, that has to be Nirguṇa Brahman only, separated from all else completely, and unrelated to anything else. Do you understand?
Yes, but the thing is, he also brings the point of suppletion. That means, from the Nirguna Brahman point of view, the Saguṇa Brahman and then the Jagat never existed like the rope, like the snake.
True. And he doesn't even know about it. True. Because Śaṅkarācārya's definition of Brahman is Swarupa Brahma, Swarupa Jnana. That means only Jnana as like a lump of Jnana, which is omnipresent, pure Prajnana Ghana, pure Jnana. Right? That is the definition Śaṅkarācārya uses. And if there is any willing, creation, activity, and all these things, he demotes it that is something lower, and that has to be in the lower region, and he separates these two as he puts a border, right? Like a clear border. That which is unchanging is Brahman. That which is changing is not Brahman. That which is changing, anything can come. Saguṇa Brahma, creation, protection, dissolution, jivas, jada, all these things comes under this category. So he has got only two level digital separation. That's all. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah.
But in the case of Vishishtadvaita, we also take, of course, Brahman is the Nirupadika Satya, but Jiva and Prakriti are also taken as real, right? They are not taken as.
They're real. In the sense that they don't what do you call, they constantly exist. They are Mithyā, they are eternal, kind of things, right? But the thing is, there is a small difference. Rāmānujācārya himself says that they are not under Nirupadika Satya, right? There's obviously conditional existence. They are dependent on Brahman. Even for Advaita, Maya is conditional, dependent on Brahman. Even for Advaita, Jada seems to be eternal, right? Because they are conditional on Brahman, but they are eternal. Because Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi, that is the 13th chapter shloka. Prakriti and Purusha are Anadi, Vidhi Anadi. So the thing is, yet Anadi is Ananta also. Whatever is Anadi is also Ananta. In that sense, what he says, when you would say this, what Śaṅkarācārya assumes is, Prakriti and Purusha are apparent. They look like they exist. They are only Brahman only. So that is the Upadana Karanatva as explained by Śaṅkarācārya. That is essentially Brahman only. And Prakriti and Purusha are just your visions, apparent view of Brahman. That's what he says. Just a second, please.
Question.
I'm back. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. See, now we are saying Satya is Brahman. And then, like there is another word we constantly use is Paramātmā. So is it different?
See, Paramātmā, the word is, that assumes, right? Parama means higher, greater, highest. It can be anything like that. Atma So the moment you say Atma, Atma is unconditional. Just Atma is without any condition, without any adjective to it. Paramātmā is an adjective to Atma. Parama Atma, right? Basically, it says Paramātmā is that is in this world of change. Paramātmā is the inner controller, Ishvara, the inner Atman for everybody. So it separates itself from Jivatma, saying Jivatma is controlled by Paramātmā, Jivatma is dependent on Paramātmā. That is the way the word is used.
Correct.
It's more like Sanskrit usage.
Yeah.
In
But
fact, Paramātmā
now,
is not different from Brahman itself, right?
yeah, that is my question actually. So the Paramātmā, Brahman, and Satyam. So all three are kind of
Same.
synonymous.
Synonymous, yeah. So the thing is, see, the question is, Satya is defined almost similarly in Advaita and Vishishtādvaita, pretty much similar, Satya,
Mhm.
right? So now I thought, why, if it is so similar, what is the problem here? So let us say Advaita has this concept of adhyasa, or names and forms are superimposed on reality. On ultimate Brahman, the names and forms are superimposed, and the empirical world, which is we experience day in and day out, which we cannot get out of, we are experiencing right now, they call it as illusory, dependent, or ultimately not real. What does it mean? It means that if you get true knowledge, all these experiences of relative world will go away, and there is only Brahman, and you become Brahman in the sense that all else will vanish away. That is the theory of adhyasa, right? Theory of adhyasa given by Śaṅkarācārya. So the rest of the universe is only apparent, or the universe itself is only apparent, and all our experiences are only apparent, and even ourselves are apparent only. So, and everything will go away, like how the snakes doesn't exist once you know that it is only a rope. And once you know it is Brahman, the universe does not exist. So where did this come from? Is it a theory brought down by Mahayana Madhyamika concept? That was the one I had, just a question for myself. Then I said, okay, who created this Madhyamika theories? It's mainly Nagarjuna, which he comes up with the concept of Śūnyatā. That means that all the phenomena or dharmas lack inherent existence. All dharmas are attributes of any kind. They don't have any inherent existence. There is nothing inside it. They are like illusions, maya, dreams, swapna, or echoes, pratibhasa. The conventional word, while functionally real, is ultimately devoid of any intrinsic substantiality. See, all this, so that is a Buddhistic theory, right? There is no substance behind all these things. It's just like things are happening, but behind, if you dig deeper, there's nothing which is underneath it, in a way. That's how Mahayana explains it. There is a Dingnaga, I think he came after who came later? Dingnaga came later, or Nagarjuna came later. I have to figure this out. Maybe Nagarjuna was earlier. I've forgotten this. So there is a small deviation. Dingnaga brings. If you look at it, Dingnaga was later, because Nagarjuna was earlier, who's supposed to be a second Buddha, right? He is supposed to be a great guy, Nagarjuna. So he got this concept. And then what he did was Dingnaga and Vasubandhu, those two people developed this concept that it is mind only. So everything is mind. That means even the external objects are not real, they are constructs of mind. Why? Because you touch something, you feel something, oh, this cold water, the flame is hot. All these things are mind's creation. Really, there is nothing like an object. Oh, but I'm seeing the water and I'm seeing the fire, if you might say. No. Even you're seeing, eyes are perceiving, but internally it is mind. The mind is interpreting all these things and saying that, oh, this is water, this is fire. But I am feeling that when I touch the flame, it is very hot, and when I touch water, it is cold. Don't you think there are two different? Water is separate, fire is separate, and I am experiencing this. Don't you think like that? The Mahayana Yogacara school says, no, no, no. When you touch, your hands are touching, but these nerves are sending that information to mind. Mind interprets it as cold or hot. So everything is mind only. Nothing is, everything is a projection of mind. So Vijnapti Matra viewpoint was said by Yogacara school. That is the Mahayana. Or I think part of Mahayana is Yogacara. I guess I have not done serious studies of this. These are difficult to study. That is why these questions, what is Satya, what is Asatya? When you blindly ask, you have to start defining, chiseling it. So even in Advaita, if you say what is Satya, Asatya, you have to chisel and say, was this borrowed by the Buddhism? Was it created by some Upanishadic thought? Or what is a combination? Everything you need to be very clear about, right? That is why it takes a much longer time to understand this perfectly without any doubts. Okay, question. What was the question? Please.
You said that it is a mind, but how is it for everybody? I see something, you see something, somebody else sees something. We see the same thing. How is it if the mind acts in the same way for everybody?
Yeah. See, this is what the question, what do you call, even Vedanta Deshika asks. Okay. So external world has to be different from the perceiver, because each one perceives them differently and there's commonality. If I touch something, it is water, and if you touch that same thing, it will say you also say it is water, right? So we have common.
How is it like that?
Huh? What did you say?
You see, I can feel it the sun, somebody else can think it is water. So
yes, I understand. We have common understanding of the world, right? That's all you're saying.
yeah. Yeah.
So the thing is, this is what even Vedanta and several acharyas question Buddhism. Okay, but they may answer, look, that is because of your karma, your samskara, or maybe there are common samskaras among several people. So they will answer it away without assuming that there is a jivatma or there is something within. They will answer that there is a mind and that's all it is. So for Mahayana, pure Mahayana, the original Mahayana, Madhyamaka, there is nothing really, even mind, nothing exists. Mind also does not exist. Here, I think this Yogacara school changed it, saying that, okay, there is at least we can accept one thing called mind. In fact, if you think about it, what is Advaita? Advaita just put one thing instead of mind. They say there is only Brahman. There is nothing else which exists. So Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithyā, that's what Advaita came. So this Advaita is sort of closely related to all these, but Advaita claims that it came from the Upanishads. Advaita does not say that I borrowed this from the Buddhists, but there is similarity because of thought process during that time in India was similar. That's all. Okay. Then because Śaṅkarācārya goes and argues for hours and hours and hours against Buddhism. So main thing is Atma is real in Advaita, and there is nothing called Atma in the Mahayana system. There is Anatmavada. There is nothing constant at all. There is nothing constant. Everything is just happening, that's all. Changing, that's all. But there is nothing underneath it. That is Buddhism. And the underneath it, they call it as Shunya. Something says Shunya does not mean that it is nothing. The word nothing is not exactly same as Shunya. So that is where the problem is what do you call so when we go into details of what exactly is Mahayana, what exactly is Advaita, it takes a little longer to explain, and it's longer to analyze all these works originally. You should not explain the way you think. You should explain exactly the way those acharyas explain. So you'll have to refer back rather than just think and give a lecture without basis. Okay. So what is the key difference? Advaita says yes, adhyasa is there and things like that. But there is Adhisthana or the substratum. The substratum is Brahman. And that Brahman is Satchidananda. And world is illusory. So Mahayana says Śūnyatā is the emptiness of inherent existence. So there is emptiness. It's not exact. Śūnyavāda is not nihilism, because if you go deeper into Mahayana system, it doesn't say it is nothing. Right? That is a wrong understanding of Buddhism. Okay. And in Yogacara, they say Vijñapti Matra or Alaya Vijnana and things like that. That's what they, instead of saying Brahman, they would say Alaya Vijnana. Instead of saying nothing or Shunya, they would say Alaya Vijnana or like, consciousness or something like that. Right? So anyway, why did we do this analysis here? Some big difference between Advaita and Mahayana is Anatmavada is Mahayana. There is nothing permanent. And here there is something definitely permanent. And Adhyasa or error is precisely superimposed on the permanent Atman. Okay, now, so far we try to understand what Satya is according to Vishishtādvaita. I'm sorry, the Advaita. So far we understood it from the Advaita perspective. But if we now look at the Vishishtadvaita view, same word, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Satya declares that Brahman possesses absolutely non-conditioned existence. By this, non-sentient matter subject to change and individual souls associated with that matter are eliminated. They themselves say it. That is, I've directly taken it from Dr. N.S. Anantarangacharya's explanation of the Upanishads. I could have gone and directly looked at the Rāmānujācārya Bhashya. The unfortunate problem is Śaṅkara Bhashya is very accessible to us on internet. I don't have any books here. I have no books here, right? I'm sitting in a rented place here in California now. I have no books other than my living support. There is nothing else here. I have the internet. In internet, I cannot find Rāmānujācārya Bhashya. It is not available in the text form. It is in the PDF form, and that cannot be interpreted very easily. So I'm just using Dr. Anantarangacharya's view of Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma here. So the individual souls and matter they have different states having different names. And the term Jnana, Satyam Jnanam, Jnana signifies the characteristics of consciousness, which is even without any contraction. Right? That is, Jnana it is knowledge of objects as well as Jnana Swarupa. Both are included in the Jnana understanding of this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So Jnana is uncontracted. There is no contraction. That means Brahman is separate from the liberated souls whose knowledge was once contracted, having been eliminated. That means what do you call the muktas had contracted knowledge before getting moksha. So the Ananta denotes nature of being without any limitation of place, time, or substance. As Brahman's nature is Saguṇa, infinity belongs both to the nature and the gunas. So Brahman is infinite in terms of nature and Swarupa, and then he is infinite in terms of gunas or attributes. So Nithyas are also excluded because they don't have the infinite gunas also, right? Satishaya Swarupas and Satishaya Swagunas, because the attributes are eliminative in character, thus has this passage been expounded by Bhashyakara under 112. Okay. So Rāmānujācārya basically explains what Rāmānujācārya said in the Sutra 112. Okay, what does meaning of Jnana signify here? So Brahman, does it refers to the Swarupa of Brahman, or does it refers to the consciousness of Brahman as an attribute, which says that using that consciousness, he knows everything, he does everything, he wills, and he acts. So Jnanam explains, says it is both Jnanashraya and Jnana. So it is the substratum of Jnana and also Jnana. So it knows, so Dharmabhuta Jnana and Swarupa Jnana are included by the word Jnana here. And for Brahman, it is asankuchita. That means Jnana is not restricted. And, the Antodatta, and as it belongs to Ai Adyajanta Rupa, he uses some Sanskrit details, which says that you have to understand it only in that way, as Jnana has two aspects to it. The substratum Jnana and the attribute Jnana, both are included. And he refers to Prajnanagana eva Anandamayaha, so that Parabrahman is Prajnanagana. Nityam Vijnanam, I didn't understand which particular text has this word, Upanishad text, which has Nityam Vijnanam. I didn't understand that. We'll have to check it. Shrutyantarat, in some other Shruti, Brahmanaha Jnana Swarupamapyasti iti drashtavyam. Brahma has, Brahma Swarupa is Jnana also, and we should understand that. So Ananta means unlimited, spatially, temporally, or with respect to a substance. So Desha Paricheda, that means it's everywhere, omnipresent. Vastu Paricheda, it includes everything. So all entities refers only to Brahman. Sarva Vastu Samanadhikaranya Arhatva. That means there is no object which does not have Brahman ensouled in it. Nantam gunanam gachanti tena ananto ayamuchyate. Brahman has infinite auspicious qualities. That's what all qualities of Brahman are, only auspicious. He does not have any defiling. Ananta kalyana gunagana vishishta. Right? So the thing is, that is what Brahman is. Ananta, unlimited, kalyana gunagana, that is blemishless gunas, is always associated with Brahman. That's what we need to understand Brahman as. So the next question is, yogi, is it superior to tapasvi? That is, tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi, jnanibhyashcha. There is a verse 643. This verse takes a much longer time to explain. I'll try to explain this in the next class. In fact, this particular question is very relevant to what we were studying, right? I don't want to discard this question. I want to explain, but it takes longer to explain than 5 or 6 minutes. And so I would explain it in the next class in the very beginning. It won't take more than 10 to 15 minutes to explain this. I would rather prepare properly and with all the bhashyas and things like that, and explain this in the next class. After that point, I will not go into question answers anymore for the next few classes. We have to focus on the subject matter. We'll come back to Kenopanishad, Sampatangar's view after this. So if you have any questions related to what we talked to today, please go ahead. No questions? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, you can. See, the thing is, the bottom line is here. I personally feel like in one statement, KSV Swami does it in Satya Anveshana paper, which I sent out. Only if you look deeper, Śaṅkarācārya, Rāmānujācārya, they don't disagree with each other. If you look deeper, And how is that they don't disagree with each other? The Maya concept and Nirguṇa Brahma, Saguṇa Brahma separation, they are only conceptual artifacts to explain certain Shruti Vakyas. Nothing more than that. The Maya for Advaitis and Maya for us are not different. If I look at the world, whatever it is there or it is not there, it is not different. Even an Advaiti who is just born in an Advaita family, he touches the table and says, yeah, table exists. And there's no difference between, for our experience of this world will not change. Just because you are born in a particular family, it will not change. So truly, you are not an Advaitin, you are not a Vishishtādvaitin, you are not a Dvaitin. This is wonderfully explained by one yogi. It seems 3 prominent disciples, all the 3 were very prominent, well-read Shastrajñas. One was an Advaiti, one was a Vishishtādvaiti, one was a Dvaiti. 3 people were sitting in line waiting for the yogi to come. Yogi came there. Swami, I am first here. I am an Advaiti. I would like to ask you some questions. I am purely Advaiti and I just don't agree with the Vishishtādvaita or the Advaita or something. This yogi asked him, okay, what do you mean you are an Advaiti? Then Advaiti said, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithyā. That is Advaita. I believe in it. That's all. And that is why I am an Advaiti. Then yogi said, can you remember what happened to you in the last 1 month? You need to tell me exactly first day of the month, second day of the month, third day of the month, in the last 1 month. Duration. What did your mind think? Oh, on the first day I had to go to some other city. I had some trouble with somebody. I did this, I did that, I did this. And next day I had to go to work. And the next day there was a big problem in my home. Many things he started telling. Then the yogi asked, during the last month, how many minutes did you think that you are Brahman and whole world is Mithyā and non-existent? How many minutes? I don't remember, but usually I do japa. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithyā, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithyā, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithyā. I do japa. While doing japa, what were you thinking? Something else. So, are you really an Advaiti? Same thing happened to the Vishishtādvaita. Oh, Vishishtādvaita means I have surrendered to God. I don't do anything. I have completely surrendered everything to God. He will take care of everything for me. Everything for me, he will take care of. You say, how long did you think over the last 1 month like this? He also could not answer satisfactorily. The other person, Dvaiti, came, oh, what do you mean you are a Dvaiti? Oh, I am dependent, Hari is only independent. There is nobody else independent other than Hari. Something like that. Said, what did you think in the last few days, last 1 month? You said, oh, I failed in the exam because I did not study. I have to work. Only when I work, it will work. So all this kind of stuff you had. So are you really a Dvaiti? This could be just a small story I am telling you. It happened really. It is not a story that it never happened. There was a real yogi and these 3 people asked these questions and that yogi said these things. There is no doubt about it. But you remember this story forever. Am I an Advaiti? Am I a Vishishtādvaita? Am I a Dvaiti? You think very seriously. Your answer comes up. We are not at the level to get somewhere that we are advanced. At least I am not advanced. That's what I think. Any other questions? Okay, we'll stop here. Next time, we will continue with probably one question, that is the 6th chapter question on yoga. After that, the question answer session will be over. And tomorrow, I plan to take a class. I will see how much I can finish tomorrow. I don't know if I can prepare properly today. If I cannot take a class tomorrow, I will cancel it. If I don't have the amount of preparation, sufficient preparation. Otherwise, let us assume default. We will again meet tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, that is 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, Sunday. Okay? Everything okay? Okay, there is also some change of time tonight, I think. Early morning, there is change of time, and that affects only USA. That does not affect Indian. India does not change its time. So it will be still, oh, that means a difference here. Pacific time, it will be 6:30 a.m. instead of, that'll be a little hard for me, but I think I'll still make it. We'll start the class at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. That should be bad for maybe Elangoji, myself, and a couple of other people. We will have a tough time. If you really cannot make it, let me know. What can we? I don't know how to change this.
Arizona, there is no time change, so I'm fine. Only you are the one who is going to have problem. You have to wake up early.
For you, what would be? That would be 7:30 a.m.
We don't have daylight saving change, so.
Oh, very nice.
Nice. So only you will have problem. So if you are okay,
Texas will be different, right? Texas has difference. Yeah, I think so.
Texas, yes, they have to wake up.
2 hours difference. There'll be a small, but still it will be 2 hours difference. It will be 6:30 for me, 8:30 for them, I think.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Asmat Gurubhyo Mahatmat Parama Gurubhyo Mahatma Sarva Gurubhyo Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Shri Lakshmi and Simha Parabrahmane Shri Lakshmi Hayadana Parabrahmane Maha Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you.
Thank you.